So today we're going to be talking about Windows 10 version 1709's brand new Windows Defender options. But first, my name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly, and the option that we're more specifically interested in is called Controlled Folder Access. And what does Controlled Folder Access have to offer? Well, the ability to prevent viruses from modifying your personal files or files within folders that you have specified. This feature, though, is not turned on by default, and you will understand why in a moment. But before we go anywhere, you will need some instruction on how this actually works. So we're going to be heading to my desktop. So from the desktop, you'll have to actually open Windows Defender, and then you'll have to go to Virus and Threat Protection. Go to Virus and Threat Protection Settings, and you'll have to scroll down to Controlled Folder Access, where you'll be able to turn it on, because it will not be on, which is one thing that, by the way, even though you think is a bad idea, is actually quite a great idea, as you are about to learn. To add folders, you go to Protected Folders. Most of the normal folders that personal files go into are already set up. You can add hard drives themselves, and you can add other folders as you see fit. And this is fairly simple and straightforward. The thing is, it's also applied to applications. So you go to Allow an app through Controlled Folder Access, same instruction, add an allowed app. Now, adding an allowed app is supposed to be straightforward, except that it's not necessarily as straightforward as you believe, which I'm about to show you why. So a normal application that was already previously running was unauthorized. And by the way, this does prove that this actually works. So I'm not saying that Microsoft's implementation doesn't work. What I'm saying is it's missing a few things. So for one, a clearly defined notification that says what is trying to be changed, no shortcuts and no shortenings, and obviously doesn't exactly explain from where this file or program is coming from. If you knew which program exactly was trying to run and you wanted to allow it to run, then knowing where it's trying to load from is exceptionally important. Also, since Windows already has UAC, User Access Control, they could have implemented a very similar aspect to Windows 10 for this. In no way do we see this kind of option allowed. So what comes down to what would have been a super amazing feature is one that actually makes it so that power users will be able to use this application, even though it's meant for novices and casual users, allowing them to protect themselves from pretty nasty viruses such as ransomware. So what is going on here? Well, basically what happened is they didn't do this right. Their implementation basically sucks. It's a great idea, but it still needs a lot of work, which is probably why this feature, which is touted as being super important, isn't turned on by default. So first of all, anything not turned on by default would not really be used. Second, because it's not turned on by default, it means that viruses can still technically infect the computer despite having this feature installed, and because it's not turned on by default, at least it doesn't ruin anybody's day trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Because going into specific applications that are not done by Microsoft, basically like my Aptana Studio, as long as it's not actually in the list, means that I can't save to my own personal files, which, while that is the point of this, is not exactly a straightforward idea. User experience is important, and this is one of the ways that you prove that it is, because they completely and utterly failed when it comes to this specific thing. Does it work? Yes, but you will spend a lot of time setting this up by going through this specific screen that you see right beside my head, which is Allow an app through Controlled Folder Access. And you will spend a lot of time trying to figure out which files are trying to run. While I do intend to make it completely run all the way through and make it work, the thing is it already took me quite a long time to set it up just to show you, and it still has files that are not being allowed to run. So obviously I'll be turning it off and only turning it on periodically to do modifications until it actually stops putting these notifications. But I wanted you to know how this thing works, the fact that it's going to take you hours to get this to work, and that there's obviously some user experience and user interface that needs to be redone on the part of Microsoft. So I hope you liked this episode. So like it if you did, dislike it if you didn't, share with those that you think can benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, for everything else. And if you want to make this show better, go to patreon.com/tqaweekly and become a patron today. Patrons get these episodes 1 to 2 days in advance of everyone else. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.